Okay, beautiful people. Angela Renee, the creative doula. How are you? I have been talking to y'all about the power of now, and we have arrived at chapter 10, which is the title of it is The Meaning of Surrender. I remember younger when I was in my early 20s, and I used to hear that song. You guys know that song? It goes, I surrender all. I surrender all. All to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. Man, one of my favorite all-time songs. But I remember thinking about surrenderance and surrendering all, and it just feeling like this thing that was just so far away. Like, how will I ever surrender all? Well, over the years, I learned how to surrender more and more and let go and let God, right? But it wasn't until reading this book, The Power of Now, and this is recent, y'all, that I knew what it meant to surrender all, that I had actually knew what it meant. And I've known for some years that there were two areas in my life that I really needed to surrender all in. And one in relationships, and I finally got that down. And the last one has to deal with diet, because I uh, learned how to be an emotional eater. And that is just one that I'll be doing really, really good, y'all. And then all of a sudden, something will trigger me, a life challenge, and I'm off. It won't be for long because I don't allow it to be for long. But I recognize that there's a level of resistance somewhere and that I need to surrender more. Well, I'm telling you, you need to read The Power of Now. You need to read it so that you can understand how to walk this walk with the Most High, how to be your best self. In The Meaning of Surrender, chapter 10, these are the topic headings: acceptance of the now, from mind energy to spiritual energy, love that. Surrender in personal relationships, transforming illness into enlightenment, right? When disaster strikes, transforming suffering into peace. The Way of the Cross, a really good one. The Power to Choose, and then there's a last little part that I'll save to the end. The answer, but the question is, how will I know when I have surrendered? So, briefly, I don't want to be here too long. I want to talk about a couple things. One one is some example that he gave of what it means to be surrendered. And I just loved it so much that I want to share it right now with you guys. And that was this example of imagine being in a forest, right? Imagine being in a forest where it was just nothing but fog, like major fog. And he said, and someone hands you this flashlight, right? And you turn that flashlight on, and all of a sudden you can see a path through the fog. Well, on the left side of that flashlight, it's only fog, that's all you can see. On the right side, it's only fog, all you can see. So the left side represents your past and the right side represents your future. Your focus is on the now, which is what the flashlight represents. That was such a clear analogy, example of a visual, right? For me to be able to say, yes, that's it. That's clear, right? And the only time you don't focus on the now is when there's resistance. And he talks about that, and I realize that the only time I'm challenged in any areas is if there's resistance. And the resistance is from within, you guys. And it's for you to be that, conscious observer that he talks about, right? And be aware of that and know that. Know that you're resisting. And acceptance is the key. Feel your way through it and change in that area. Don't resist. Accept the now. Be. Right? And it's as simple as that. But you have to be willing to surrender all to get to that point. Right? I love it. In this wonderful book, I've learned how to surrender. And I don't know if without this book, because the examples are so clear and pure. They're so clear and pure, right? It's not caught up in religion. It is all about wanting to help people become conscious so that they can be their highest self, right? And that is all about relationship to the Most High. You guys, I'm going to pause a lot because I'm really hearing spirit. Before I get off of this share, let me read let me go into his definition of surrender. I'm going to read the first two paragraphs. To some people, surrender may have negative connotations, implying defeat, giving up, failing to rise to the challenges of life, becoming lethargic, and so on. True surrender, however, is something entirely different. It does not mean to passively put up with whatever situation you find yourself in and to do nothing about it. Nor does it mean to cease making plans or initiating positive action. Surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. The only place where you can experience the flow of life is the now. So to surrender is to accept the present moment unconditionally and without reservation. It is to relinquish inner resistance to what is. Inner resistance is to say no to what is through mental judgment and emotional negativity. It becomes particularly pronounced when things go wrong, which means that there is a gap between the demands of rigid expectations mind and what is. It is precisely at those times that surrender needs to be practiced if you want to eliminate pain and sorrow from your life. Acceptance of what is immediately frees you from mind identification and thus reconnects you with being. Resistance is the mind. So check out where you're resisting, folks. Check out wherever you're resisting. And let that go. Let it go. Acceptance is the key. Be present in the now. All right, y'all. Last part. There's so much more I could always say, but it's so much. It's so much. Couple things. Oh, I already said inner acceptance of what is without any reservations. That's if you want to transform illness into enlightenment, don't resist, right? Accept without any reservations. That doesn't mean accept that you're ill, you guys. It means accept the now. The now. Okay. Last thing, and I'm going to go. you're supposed to reread the book. I don't need to go over it too much detail. That's why you're not getting too much detail. I'm just trying to spark you. How will I know when I have surrendered? When you no longer need to ask the question. You'll know you have surrendered when you don't have to ask. How will I know when I'm surrendered? It's beautiful to be surrendered. Read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Read it. Stop resisting and just read it. Peace and love, love and light, beautiful people. Angela Renee, the Creative Doula. And I'm out.